Hello, it's me, French Ted, and we are back for another episode of SmackDown, and we've got another call-up, maybe, kind of call-up, I don't know. They haven't got the SmackDown around their name, so I guess maybe they're not a call-up yet. But it is Fatal Attraction, and namely, Fallon Henley. Yeah, I mean, I think at the time we're recording, JC Jane's currently the NXT Women's Champion, which came out of nowhere, didn't it? I feel, in my opinion, she's always kind of been the most forgotten one of these three. But hey ho, Fallon's my pick out of the three, so she gets the match. Or when I say she gets the match, she gets the loss, as this is a red, white, and blue battle qualification match, and Bianca Belair secures her place at WrestleMania in a pretty good match, to be honest. I don't know how much of this was carried by Bianca, although she's got wave of momentum, huge effort. Fallon Henley could be a sleeper hit on the main roster. I don't know, but nonetheless, Bianca Belair is through. Which, let's see if memory serves me right, we've got Chelsea Green, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Bayley, and someone else. I can't remember. I'm very sorry about that. But yeah, let's just carry on with the show. Bianca Belair has booked her ticket to WrestleMania. And yeah, the qualification matches continue all through tonight and in next week's episode, where I believe they are close to being wrapped up. But either way, let's move on as Bianca Belair celebrates her win. And I'm quite glad I booked this in recognition of how great Fallon Henley was in that match. They celebrate together. She shakes Fallon's hand, which obviously is slightly out of character from Fallon Henley, but she accepts it nonetheless, because Bianca Belair is obviously a big star, so getting that rub is always a win. But you can see from the popularity of Fallon Henley, it kind of dropped it down quite a bit. At 53, Bianca's not used to being in a 53 rated segment. But following on from the women's division and the red, white, and blue battle, I hiccuped there when I said battle. Chelsea Green is still trying to put a stop to this match. She storms into Nick's office, kicking out some of the backstage producers who were having a meeting with Nick Aldis, as she presents Nick with a huge basket of Canadian bacon. Not American, because of course, if my memory serves me correct, Chelsea Green is Canadian. In the hopes that he'll call off the WrestleMania match. It's a lovely gift. And Nick's obviously happy to receive. He loves a bit of meat. So he accepts the bacon, thanks Chelsea, and then just kind of like ushers her out the room while she's still trying to talk to him and get his attention. And then he just slams the door in at Chelsea and Piper's face. Nick very happy with his free bacon and happy to progress with the red, white, and blue battle. We've also got a notification here from the announcers that Alexa Bliss will be in action next week. She will be in in-ring action, which I think is her first or second match since the Royal Rumble. So yeah, let's hope that Little Miss Bliss isn't Little Miss Rusty in the ring as she takes on Alba Fire next week on SmackDown. Continuing with the qualification matches, Carmelo Hayes has his match next, and it is against the good guy, bad guy, Tama Tonga, with Solo Sikoa ringside. And in a dog shit match because, oh no, Carmelo Hayes is just fatigued. He could do with some time off wrestling. So he's not injured anymore. His injury's fine, but I guess his fatigue levels are still quite high. He still managed to pull the win out. Still got a 72, which is pretty good despite the really terrible match quality. So Carmelo Hayes wins, and he will now be rested until WrestleMania, because we can't have that fatigue affecting a WrestleMania match. But he does it on one leg. So Tama Tonga unfortunately cannot progress. But Solo and Fatu do have their qualification match next week. And I say match because it is announced that they have been drawn against each other. Solo will take on Jacob Fatu one-on-one next week. The winner booking their place at WrestleMania in the battle, the red, white, and blue battle. Sorry. Nick's a busy man, as he always is on a Friday night, and this time he's got Tiffany in his office. So Tiffy is in Nick's office as she claims that Alexa Bliss has been stalking her over the last few weeks and leaving all these creepy dolls wherever Tiffy turns. And she says that she's had enough. She says that something needs to happen. She needs to back off, and some kind of restraining order needs to be put in place ahead of WrestleMania. That's the only way that WrestleMania is going to go smoothly, is if they're kept as far apart from each other as possible. Nick says that he'll do what he can to kind of limit the harassment that's ongoing, but obviously Alexa Bliss works in mysterious ways, so he can't guarantee anything. But what he can do is give Tiffy the night off next week. So Alexa Bliss, we know, will be in the arena. She will be competing in a match. So he says, why don't you just stay at home next week, Tiffy? That way there's guaranteed space between the two of you, which of course Tiffany Stratton gladly accepts. We do stay backstage for now as Kayla Braxton is with Andrade, because Andrade is actually in our main event match tonight against Cody Rhodes. AJ had a match last week. Cody's got one this week. AJ called out and said, it's only fair if I'm having matches and not being able to rest. Cody's got to do the same. Cody accepted, and Andrade was the man chosen. But Andrade's not here to talk about Cody Rhodes, even though that's what Kayla wants to ask him about. And before she can even get a question out, he grabs the mic out. Well, he doesn't grab the mic. He gestures for the mic, and Kayla passes it to Andrade, who smirks and says, when WWE talk about Lucha, they talk about Rey Mysterio. They talk about the LWO. But this version of the LWO is just a cheap tribute act. A copy. A group of random names clinging to a history that they did not earn. I honor Lucha. I am built from Lucha. And what I'm building here is not nostalgia. It's not chaos. It is a faction, unity, power, and you, Rey Mysterio. Everyone will see soon enough. Thank you, Kayla. I have to go prepare for my match tonight. As he hands the mic back to Kayla and walks off. So Andrade, the beef is with Rey Mysterio, but I think it's more with the kind of cheap gimmickness of LWO. They've just kind of thrown the LWO on anyone who is slightly Latino, and that kind of doesn't fly with Andrade, saying that the roots are a little bit more deep than that. I don't know. And Andrade wants to build something that literally represents Lucha. He wants to honor it the right way, and he believes that the LWO, Dragon Lee, Cruz Toro, Joaquin Wild, Rey Mysterio, etc., are not honoring that. So yeah, he's kind of got a cause. Maybe he's not going the right way around it. We'll see. But yeah, we do actually head back to the ring now. Yeah, we do have matches on tonight's card. But to be fair, we've already had 2 matches. So pipe down, guys. And it is LA Knight. And I said in the last SmackDown episode, I'm going to give LA Knight a go. I'm going to try a promo. I'm going to try and write LA Knight and see how it feels. So let me know how you think I did with this opening segment. So LA Knight cuts a promo ahead of his qualifying match against a mystery opponent. So making his way down to the ring, LA Knight paces, microphone in hand, and he signals for his music to be cut short. And he goes, "Let me talk to ya." And the crowd go, "Yeah." And he says, "WrestleMania season's here, and the red, white, and blue battle is looking like a parade of pretenders. You got Trick Williams strutting around like he invented charisma. He didn't. Kevin Owens, his tough guy act has worn thinner than the patchy beard he wears on his face. And Rusev? Buddy Rusev. Every day might be Rusev Day in your house, but at WrestleMania, it's LA Knights. Yeah." Now, the fans, they're wondering, who's next? Who's filling that next spot? Well, let me go ahead and spoil the ending for you. It's the man with the gold in his future and zero patience for nonsense. That's LA Knight. Yeah. And when I walk into WrestleMania, US title hanging in the balance, I ain't just representing the Stars and Stripes. I'm the whole damn flag. Yeah. So get your camera phones ready. Slap that logo on the poster and remember the name that's going to headline the highlight reel after it's all said and done. Say it with me, guys. L-A. And just as he's about to go, Knight, he's cut short and the music of his opponent plays. And it's another NXT call-up. Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy, of course, recently signed back from AEW. He is here and he is looking mean, and he's looking to maybe shock a few people and defeat LA Knight and book a very quick ticket to WrestleMania. Let's see if Buddy Murphy can do it. No, of course he can't. LA Knight gets the win in a fairly decent match. You know, Buddy Murphy's apparently got a wave of momentum, so we'll take that. 78 crowd reaction, which is really good to be fair. 74 match overall and match quality of 68. Fair enough. So LA Knight has booked his ticket to WrestleMania. So that is now Kevin Owens, Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, Rusev, and LA Knight, which means, hold on, Trick, Rusev, Owens, Carmelo, LA Knight. Yeah, which means there's one more spot left, and it is between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa next week. But as LA Knight celebrates in the ring, we kind of cut to backstage where Trick Williams is watching on. And Nick Aldis walks past and just goes, "Oh, hey, Trick." And Trick goes, "Oh, Nick, while you're here, I've been thinking, watching all these qualifying matches over the last few weeks has really fired me up. And, you know I'm the champion, and the champion normally gets a pass and gets to just go straight into WrestleMania. But seeing as though this is my first year on the main roster, I want to really earn everything that's heading my way. So how about you set me up for a qualifying match next week?" Nick is like a little bit surprised by this. He's like, okay, I mean, that's not usually the done thing, but I'll never say no to someone who wants to set up a challenge. So next week, Trick, you will defend both your WrestleMania spot and your United States Championship. I will find you a suitable opponent. So next week, Trick Williams is defending his US title and his place at WrestleMania against an opponent of Nick Aldis's choosing. Who do you think it's going to be? Right now, I don't know. Might surprise a few with a unique name, and then we'll go from there. And maybe they beat Trick, and maybe they go into WrestleMania's US champ. Who knows? Oh, maybe there's a reason why I haven't really been showing you guys The Office. Oh, there isn't. Maybe there is. Who knows? Anyways, we stay backstage where the Street Profits cut a little promo on their upcoming opponents next week. So next week, again, another big match. You've got the number one contenders match for the WWE Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania. One of these teams will face DIY. And the Street Profits are backstage where we see Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins all just, dripped out, looking fresh, as they cut a promo on Motor City Machine Guns, who they're facing next week, as we just said. Montez Ford says, next week it's the Street Profits versus the Motor City Machine Guns. Say less. Angelo Dawkins chimes in and goes, we respect the legacy, the highlights, the hustle, the whole Motor City madness. Ford then takes over and says, but y'all stepping in our lane now. And that lane ends before WrestleMania. Dawkins then chimes in and says, tag title dreams? We're about to put the brakes on them real quick. As Montez then goes, because we want the smoke. And then they both say together, because it's so cool, and we gon' get the gold. As the camera pans away. So yeah, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, they're feeling pretty confident. They reckon they can get a one-up on Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley next week and then book their place at WrestleMania. So we will have to wait and see. A 99 promo. Whoa! Love that. But yeah, a little bit of edge. Seemed to improve the crowd reaction. Maybe that's the secret. But this is a relatively short SmackDown because we're already at the main event. Oh, sorry, I should say the main event match. Because there was meant to be an announcement earlier on in the night that Seth Rollins is in the building and wants to address the WWE Universe. Talk about Logan Paul, talk about WrestleMania, talk about whatnot. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But our main event match is Cody Rhodes versus Andrade with AJ Styles, who is sitting ringside just like Cody did last week. And I'm hoping in a really good match. Nice one. Cody Rhodes gets the win. And thankfully, Andrade doesn't drop too much. I was worried about that. But yeah, really huge effort from both men. Raising the match quality. They up their game. A 92 match quality. Whoa. 85, 88. You love to see it. Great win from Cody. AJ, trying to maybe learn those Cody patterns. Who knows? and Andrade putting up a real fight. You know, he's someone who I think definitely could make the step up in the future. You know, we've got King of the Ring on the horizon, Money in the Bank. He's definitely someone who's got to be in the mix of things like that. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, it's now our main event segment time, where Seth Rollins is in the building. The lights dim. And Mr. whatever his nickname is nowadays, Seth Rollins, is here to cut a promo on his upcoming WrestleMania match against Logan Paul. The music's playing, you know, the whoa, whoa, however it goes. And, you know, he struts out onto the stage in a wild, ludicrous outfit. Arms stretched, soaking in the atmosphere. You know how he does it. You know, he stands there, arms in the air, closing his eyes. He begins a very slow, exaggerated walk down the ramp. You know, he's just killing time. He's loving this. Mic in hand, smirking as the crowd are just singing along to his theme song. And just as he pauses again in the middle of the ramp, he closes his eyes, raises his arms in the air. Boom! Out of nowhere, a massive big boot nearly takes Seth Rollins' head off. The crowd are like, holy shit. This towering 7 foot tall hooded figure, pretend you don't know who it is yet, stands over the lifeless apparent body of Seth Rollins. Before anyone can even react or anyone can come out to check on Seth, Logan's Paul music hits, you know, hey yo, and then the music plays. He struts out, you know, Logan Paul, you know, he's in no rush, holding a WrestleMania-themed Prime bottle like a trophy, you know, takes a little sip, and then he kind of jogs down to the ramp to meet the hooded giant. Logan then picks up Seth's limp body, taunts the crowd a little bit, and then drills Seth Rollins on the ramp with a pulverizer. The big guy, you know, we don't know who he is yet, pretend like you don't know, doesn't say a word. Logan then kind of whispers something to him, points to Seth as this man lifts Seth with ease onto his shoulders like a fireman's carry, carrying Seth like he's dead weight, and then leads Logan Paul leads this man, laughing and filming on his iPhone, down to the ring. Inside the ring, Seth is just dumped into the mat. As he kind of regains his consciousness and struggles to rise back to his feet, the big hooded guy backs into the corner, takes a deep breath, and then boom! Another massive big boot. This one cuts open Seth Rollins. Seth collapses, blood gushing from his brow, just laying there motionless as the giant slowly walks into the center of the ring and stands over Seth Rollins' head. Everyone is like, holy shit, what is happening? And then Logan Paul signals to take the man's hood off. He pulls the hood back, shakes his head, and the long, luscious hair of Big Cass falls down. He towers next to Logan Paul, arms crossed, as he gives a little fist bump to Mr. Prime Logan Paul. Logan then raises his arms in the air, kind of mocking how Seth Rollins does it, closes his eyes, breathes in that atmosphere. And then you can hear him just yelling at Seth Rollins, like just inaudible crap, as Big Cass has just stood there, like menacing. Like, just look at the picture of Big Cass right now. Those eyes piercing into the hard cam as we fade to black of Logan Paul taking selfies with a bloodied Seth Rollins and a giant Big Cass standing over him. This was Logan Paul's backup. And I know some of you might roll your eyes, but I fucking love Big Cass. So I mean, if you ever watched my AEW series, Big Bill was a fan favourite. For me, he was. But yeah, that's the show. I quite enjoyed that one, not gonna lie. Fallon Henley coming up and, you know, kind of impressing. Bianca Belair booking her ticket to WrestleMania. Chelsea still trying to get that match cancelled, but I just don't think it will. Alexa Bliss, I'm very excited for that, will be in action next week. Carmelo Hayes is heading to WrestleMania, as is LA Knight. Tiffy has got the week off next week, so we'll see none of her. Fatu Solo, who's going to make it to Mania? We'll have to find out next week. What else happened? Trick also is putting his title on the line next week against someone. So he could risk losing his WrestleMania spot, which is wild. And we'll also get the number 1 contenders match. You know, it's a stacked match card next week. You got Solo and Fatu. Trix put his title on the line. Number 1 contender match between the Street Profits and Motor City Machine Gun. And probably the more of the qualification matches. I think there's another women's one coming as well. So yeah, very exciting. And then to end the show, Big Cass is back in WWE. I mean, he's been in NXT for a while, but ignore that. He is back in WWE, and he has aligned with Logan Paul. Wow. Well, I'm going to end this here and fast forward to Monday. I'll let you know if there's any interesting news or whatever. Yeah, I'll see you guys in a sec. Just, decompress, take in what you just saw. Enjoy. I'll see you in a moment. Okay, we back. And not much to tell, really. I mean, it's only really been 2 days. The only things that have happened is we offered a new contract to Carmelo Hayes, new contract to Thea Hale, and we also threw a contract to Daniel Garcia. I love me some Daniel Garcia. I don't know how he'd work in WWE, but there's a lot of people in NXT that I'm thinking of calling up post-Mania. So even if he's just there to thicken up NXT for now until I find something, so be it. I have put an offer in, which is fairly generous. I think if AEW counter with a bigger one, I'll just let him stay at AEW. I think that's fair enough. Because recently we have picked up a few AEWers, and I don't want to make it too crazy. But yeah, if he joins, he joins. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Fair enough. I don't think there's any other news. It was just Big Cass being called up. Fair dues. Oh, one thing I did want to go across is Mariah. Oh no, she's not here anymore, is she? I put her in developmental. Mariah. So, a couple of your comments. The first few... current accolades, I need to change that. The first few was to change her to Blake Monroe, which I completely understand. Other ones were just do what you want, Ted, which is fair enough, because I personally would just keep her as Mariah May, because that's how I know her best. And I feel like... I think the only reason WWE did it is because Mariah May is her real name, and I think a lot of WWE or a lot of wrestlers now own their own name in terms of like the intellectual property and IP. So the reason why WWE give them different names is so that they can then own the IP of that character. Hence why Ricky Starks became Ricky Saints and shit like that. So from a WWE perspective, it makes sense to change her to Blake Monroe. But I did see someone say to just call her Mariah Monroe. It's like the best of both worlds. And I don't know why. I think that works. So I think for now, I'm going to call her Mariah Monroe. Now, feel free to get really angry and tell me that this is a silly idea. And I'll, change it. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it like that for now. And that's how I'm also going to end this episode, because there's nothing else to discuss. We've got Raw next week. I'm excited for it. I'm going to get booking it now. And yeah, we're getting closer and closer to WrestleMania. I mean, we'll be in April by the time Raw rolls over, or we roll past Raw. So yeah, really, really excited. Like the road to WrestleMania it's in sight. Like we can see WrestleMania on the horizon. So can't wait. And I hope you guys are excited too. But yeah, that's it for this one. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Please, as always, like, comment, subscribe, share, do it all. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.